Hello and welcome to this Fallout 4 settlement tour video. This is Extreme Wackazoid, and today we are looking at Outpost Zimonja. And I wanted to show you the outside of this structure and give you a sense of the space, and hopefully this will give you some good ideas of what you would like to do with it. This is the PS4 version. I'm using a bunch of mods which are listed below, and every expansion pack of the game as well. And speaking of expansion packs, you need this tool right here. This is from the Vault-Tec expansion pack. It's a population control, and it is fantastic because you can tell your settlers what to do and they will remember to do it. It is miraculous. What I wanted to do with Outpost Zimonja, I think I'm pronouncing that right, is I wanted it to make it a lot less obvious of where the original structure ended and where my settlement began. I also wanted it to look really junky, and so there's a bunch of different materials being used. I wanted it to look like the settlers actually went and got this scrap and then made a settlement out of it. The exception, of course, would be this bathroom, which is it's a cement block brick skin. So I don't know how realistic it would be to have that being built by settlers, but maybe it was here before. So yeah, I wanted to show you what the outside of this structure looks like first. It's about 3 floors. It's built right into the radio outpost here. All my settlers grow mute fruit. This is one of the few settlements where I actually have Brahmin. Typically I don't like Brahmin. They get in the way, and so what I discovered is that the Brahmin come by your settlement beacon, radio beacon, and so if you never turn on a radio beacon at one settlement, the Brahmin will not show up. But these are minigun turrets on stilts. I like to use these ball track supports with just a wooden square on top of it, and the good thing about that is that melee attackers can't get to it, so it protects your turrets a little bit. My settlers, like I said, all grow mute fruit, and that's because one plant equals 1 food, and so it's just the most efficient thing to grow. And I only have about 7 or 8 settlers in this settlement, because I liked it to be realistic, and so it's just the bare minimum number of farmers you would need. And then I have 4 vendors, and they're all wearing the same outfit, which is this I think it's a postman's outfit. So they're all with ballistic weave, so it gives them added protection. So again, this is the outside of the structure. There's a lot of wood and a lot of metal, and it looks like it's on stilts, and it is. There's these barn door supports which are actually there that snaps to the structure, but then these wooden stilts are actually it's not the foundation that you would find. It's just these wooden stilts that look like the foundation, and so this was already raised up, and so I just fit these underneath so it looks like the foundation. And so I'll take you up top and show you what's going on. This is the first bed. It's pretty minimal in terms of what the settlers actually have. I like them to have some kind of space to themselves, so they this settlement, they all have a locker. And so this is the second floor, and using these little lighted lamps gives it a really good vibe at night. And so all the settlers are sleeping here. I pretty much have the same beds, and the first thing I do when I build is I decide where I'm going to put my power source, and I like to put my power source up high for added protection. It's a little easier for wiring as well. And then I put a barrier around it, because when attackers come, they will definitely come after your power source. So here I have it surrounded by concrete and metal. And what I like to do with stairways is put a little bit of lighting to go up the stairs, so that way at night you know where you're going. And so this is the 3rd floor here, and I'll spend some time kind of walking through here. This is a restaurant, and what I like to do is use these tier 3 vendor stations because I actually use them to buy things and sell things, and so the tier 3 has the most things to buy. And what I like to do is actually put things into these shelves so it looks like they're actually selling something. And so with this, actually I drop it first, and then I use the action button to carry it over, and then drop it again onto these shelves. And so there's not a lot of space in here, obviously. I wanted it to kind of look like rail cars, just kind of really tiny house type of look. And I realized with this coming up, I used this wooden roof on top of here, and so that made it have kind of a slant to it. And so what I wanted to do was have this to actually have a chair for people after they're done with work. They can come and relax. And so I put these wooden plywood along so that there's actually a flat surface there. Some of this doesn't end up looking terribly realistic, I guess. Like this cement barrier is going right through this barn door post, but I wanted to actually have a barrier so that way, oh, I actually did fall off there. Well, ideally I wouldn't fall off. And so this 3rd floor here has my vendors, and what I like to do with my clinic vendor is give him a lab coat so it looks like a real doctor. And then again, I put items into the shelves here so it looks like they're actually selling something. This is the junk vendor here. And I put some lighting here. This is a track lighting, so it looks kind of cool at night. And so again, you can't really tell where the radio station ended and where the structure begins of where I wanted to build, and that's exactly the kind of look I was going for. I like to use these ceiling lights, fans, for added comfort. And I like to have 2 different exits, because I think if I were living in a wasteland, that's exactly what I would want, is a couple of different options for exits. And so there's a lot of different materials being used here. This is the scaffolding railings. You can see here there's these wooden plywood flooring. There's upper floors. There's metal roofs. There's all kinds of different just junk. And so I didn't want it to look uniform at all. And so that's where the structure actually begins. And so there is this brick that's part of the radio structure. And so that's what gave me the idea of having this brick structure outside for my restroom. And so I'll just go ahead and show you what that looks like here. When I used to build, I'd never even thought to put bathrooms in. And then I realized that that was not realistic at all. So I like to put restrooms in. Imagine that. So it's just a stall of a shower and a stall of a toilet, and it's within this kind of brick structure. So that's a cement with a different skin on it. So that's what it looks like on the outside. And I'll go even kind of further up here to give you a look of what it looks like from outside. And so all the wirings on top, you saw I used a fusion reactor. Typically gives you enough juice if you know how to wire things. And what I like to do with these power pylons is put a light onto the pylons, so that way you can kind of see where your outside barrier is when you're building at night. So hopefully this gives you some good ideas of what to do with Outpost Zimonja, and if you like what you see, hit the like on the video and favorite the channel, and thanks so much.